Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to extend a warm welcome to each one of you present here and online to this 6 study circle meeting, where our very own lovingly called the Fire Brigade, Vinayak Patkar sir, will deliberate and discuss one of the significant pronouncements of the Honorable Supreme Court in case of Commissioner of Trade and Tax Delhi versus Shanti Kiran India Private Limited. Today, we will all brainstorm here, not to merely analyze this judgment, but to reflect upon its far reaching implications for our own legal system under GST. This judgment has stirred an important debate on ITC denial, raising important questions of interpretation, precedence, and principle. I'm sure through this study circle forum discussion and views of our expert speaker, we will all get clarity on the complex issues of disallowance of ITC by the department faced by all of us in our day to day practice. With this, I welcome the Honorable Speaker, Vinayak sir. Uh, Continuing with the activities of our association, I have some important announcements to make. We are coming out with a webinar on 7th of February for the interpretation of statutes and GST, which is a specially customized program of high value for the first time in GST with a very senior faculty, Advocate Sridharan sir, who is going to address and take up the first session. There are going to be 5 sessions, and the flyer and brochure will be out soon. The cost of this will be 2,000, including GST. The starting date is 7th of February. Another announcement is regarding the Gujarati coaching class, which shall commence on 23rd of February on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the fees of which is 1540, including GST. With this, we shall be providing the beginner's book on GST as a compliment to all the participants. I now call upon my president to give the opening remarks.
Yeah. Thank you, Ajay. Audible enough there? Yeah. Thank you, Ajay. I once again welcome all the participants, all the attendees, physical, some of them physical, most of you virtual. Now you see this ITC set off. ये सब लोग 2012, 2013 से 2010 से we are still fighting. The names have changed. The fight has remained the same. Now, you know, the importance of this session is that as much as I would, as all advocates, chartered accountants, practitioners would like that, you know, they get matters which are like, बहुत दिमाग लगाना पड़े, complex solutions, complex matter, IPR, ये वो. But let us face it, the bread and butter still is ITC disallowance. And the law in relation to ITC disallowance has gone through so many ebbs and flows. And I would say that the judgment in Shanti Kiran is one of those judgments which I foresee several more to come with regards to this. But this in itself by the Supreme Court is a substantial judgment, and that is why Patkar sir informed me about the judgment. He said that you need to keep a study circle. And I said that no better than Patkar sir himself to talk about this topic. So that is why I welcome each one of you and happy learning. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Now I would request our Honorary General Secretary Rahul Thakkar to give an introduction of our speaker on Senior Advocate Vinayak sir.
Thank you, Ajay bhai. I think the speaker requires no introduction. We all know him, but as a formality, I will just welcome him with a brief introduction. So, Mr. Vinayak Patkar, as we all know, he is the practicing advocate in sales tax law since last 40 years now. He has been the past president of this our sales tax GST Association, GSTPAM. Earlier, it was Sales Tax Practitioner Association of Maharashtra. He has been the past president of the Sales Tax Tribunal Bar Association of Maharashtra. He has been the member of the National Executive Committee of AIFTP, and he is advisors to various big organizations like Builders Association of India, MCHI, India Diagnostic Products Manufacturers Association. He has been the past editor of our GST Review. He has chaired various seminars and conferences. We all know about that. He has also been fruitful in development of indirect tax laws by giving or appearing in various important decisions before the Bombay High Court, such as Marine Limited, MRF, Cycle Auto Riders, Shirke Construction, Compton Gives, Pinterior, and many more. And with this brief introduction, I would welcome Shri Vinayak Patkar for today's session. May I request our president to offer a memento to Shri Vinayak Patkar. Thank you, sir. And over to Shri Vinayak Patkar for the further proceedings.
ये चलेगा ये बेटा ये दिस इज गुड
सामने में
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I should thank our president and the association both for inviting me to speak on this particular subject. The reason is that I was the pioneer in this litigation which relates to this input tax credit. Mahalakshmi Spinning and Weaving Limited, they were my client. Basically, they are from Kolhapur. And that time there was a challenge for section 48(5) which exists under MVAT Act. Number of writ petitions were filed challenging the constitutional validity of that section. Mine was the only case where the assessment was done. Justice Chandrachud was on the bench that time. He rejected all the writ petitions, but since in my case assessment was done, it took it up for hearing. You know the judgment. What is the judgment? It's a constitutional validity, and judgment said that the words actually paid, which are there under the statute, under that particular section, means that unless the tax is paid in the treasury, government treasury, no ITC can be granted. This is the summary of that judgment. However, at the same time, he took undertaking from the Advocate General that they would employ their machinery, entire machinery, for the recovery from the suppliers. And whenever the tax is recorded from the suppliers, it would be refunded to them. Whether assessments are time barred or not, government will inform them, department will inform them, and refund the tax. I have not come across any case where such tax is refunded. I don't know if any one of you have received this refund. Fight was going on. Fight is still going on. Fight is still. There are certain cases. Some have reached to the Bombay High Court. Some are still lying in the tribunal before Pune bench. This judgment has now given us a boon to re-argue the matter. Of course, in every time, the last one which I had argued, the tribunal rejected. They are rejecting the same thing. We can't go beyond what Honorable Bombay High Court said. Now I will tell you what was the argument, what were my arguments. Because see, going only by Shanti Kiran will not help you. I'll explain to you. I am explaining Shanti Kiran, I am explaining in relation to MVAT Act, and Shanti Kiran I will explain in relation to GST Act also. So first, you should know what is required to be argued. Let the authorities reject it, but it should go before the Honorable High Court, because so far as tribunal is concerned, there is no much hope. Before coming to the last judgment which I argued before this Pune bench, let me share with you one more judgment in the same judgment in the same case, Mahalakshmi Spinning. That is appeal number 196 of 2015. The judgment is of the first bench given by Honorable Sri G.B. Indurkar and Ashwin Devre. The judgment is dated 30th October 2017. This is of course after Bombay High Court judgment. I had filed before the Honorable Tribunal a compilation of 2000 pages. It is recorded. It is recorded in the judgment. They had that compilation of 2000 pages, and each party whose ITC was rejected, I had shown them when the RC was cancelled, what was the recovery made or not made, what was the action taken by the department. And I'll tell you, Mr. Indurkar was the additional commissioner in our department. You read para 43 of that judgment. He heavily came on the department. He has recorded in that judgment that dealers are suffering only because of the inaction by the department. They have cancelled that period was 8-9. They said they have retrospectively cancelled the numbers of the suppliers and tried to recover the taxes from the buyers, purchasers. He said, and that too he has brought on record that those judgment, those numbers were cancelled 4-5 years after, not immediately. Then he asked the question, how can you, if a number is cancelled after 3 to 4 years or 5 years, how can you make recovery from these people? He is not available for recovery. So all these things he wrote, but unfortunately, finally, in his judgment, he remanded the matter. He remanded. 36 months are over. Department has not passed any order in that. Fortunately, now we have got out of it. It is time barred now. The question is, why did he remand? He should not have remanded. See, that is the difficulty with our tribunal, that they don't take bold. They say many things. they don't take bold decisions. Now, since he had remanded, I had no remedy before the High Court. High Court will say, "अरे उनको आने दो, सब देखने क्या करते उधर देखो." उसमें लिख दिया, फिर इंक्वायरी करो, रिकवरी करो. Anyway, now I'll come to my last decision, that is champion before the Pune bench. I argued, I told the Pune bench what is actually happening in the department. And that is the real thing. Unfortunately, had it been before Justice Yavalkar, I think the judgment would have been different. It was with another bench. I told them, "See, sir, what is happening?" Mr. Dipte was on the bench. That because of this Bombay High Court judgment, what the department officers are doing, they are doing nothing about any recovery, any follow-up with the suppliers. But the Mahalakshmi judgment, Bombay High Court judgment is of 2012. अरे उसके बाद में आप क्या किया? कुछ ही नहीं किया. Simple thing they are doing. If the supplier has not paid the tax, either they are going to him and taking bribes from them, or not at all approaching him. वो गया ना तो तुम पैसा भरो. And this is what was happening all over India. Now that in that case, Champion's case, we had given all the documents, bank details, this one. Despite that, the Joint Commissioner had observed that the supplier is a non-genuine dealer. So I had challenged that also. You produce him for cross-examination. If he's saying, he had given, of course, the affidavit to this one. Let me cross-examine him. Even there is a judgment of Bombay High Court that some material is being used against you, then you have every right to cross-examine. Unfortunately, they did nothing. They rejected, citing Bombay High Court judgment, and now we are in High Court. So this is the way how under the MVAT Act the cases were and are being handled. Now Shanti Kiran will give a new approach to those cases. So what approach I'll tell you now under the value-added tax act. What Shanti Kiran says, Shanti Kiran has made distinction between bona fide dealers and the dealers who are dishonest. See, basically I'll tell you, originally Delhi High Court in all those judgments, Arise India, this Quest, then even in Shanti Kiran, instead of disagreeing with the Bombay High Court judgment, they said that the wording is different. I have not understood. No one has explained me till today. Neither those judgments have how the wording. There, the law says actually deposited. Here, the law says actually paid. What is the difference between actually deposited and actually paid? But to our misfortune, High Court, Delhi High Court, instead of saying that we will not follow that judgment, we disagree with that proposition, they have tried to make the distinction, and then they have said so many things. There was a constitutional challenge to constitutional validity and all those things. I think this was not required. There is no distinction between actually deposited and actually paid. A deposit you are paying. I am going a step further. I am saying this is what I have argued in the Champions matter also. Your 48.5 is saying actually paid. But actually paid by whom? whether only dealer or recovered by the department officers and paid into the government. That is also actually paid. But this particular argument, unfortunately, before the Bombay High Court, that was not made. And now, even if it is being made, they are not entertaining. That is because Bombay High Court judgment day. Shanti Kiran has made that distinction. That, but they are saying deposited and paid. There are two different things. But now, Supreme Court, in clear words, they are saying that there is, if the transaction is bona fide, if the supplier is bona fide, then it is the responsibility of the government to recover the tax. That is because they have said it in clear words. That is because the buyer has no remedy. He has no access to neither to his returns. They're written, so they're all confidential documents, and that is true. So now, whichever cases are pending here, VAT cases. See, I know 90% people, they have paid under amnesty. But the cases we are still pending, take up this. Take up this 2, 3, this one, that my supplier was borrowed. Give evidence. Give evidence that you have paid, maybe by cross-check and all this thing, blah, blah, blah. You are in possession of an invoice. You are paid the tax amount. Delivery, of course, delivery challans are always there, whether fake or this one, but they are there. Prove the genuineness of the transaction. Put before them. Take this one. Take the copies of the actions taken by the department, copies of their assessment proceedings of the supplier, copies of the recovery proceedings of the supplier, copies of the prosecution proceedings of the supplier. And if they give copies of their returns also, take all these documents, let them go on record, see what the tribunal does, otherwise approach the High Court. Now, I think approach, see, Mahalakshmi's SLP was dismissed. Mahalakshmi, the Supreme Court did not give judgment on merits. They just dismissed the SLP. But now, I think either Bombay High Court itself or Supreme Court will deliver a judgment in this, so far as this input tax is concerned. Now let me come to GST. GST, same thing. You are giving the details of the invoices. What am I going to do? Thereafter, you cancel the this one. Now, this judgment here, they have not spoken about Suresh Trading, but original High Court judgment has followed Suresh Trading. Suresh Trading says the same thing. Suresh Trading, there they were claiming resale, and the registration certificate of the supplier was cancelled retrospectively. The Supreme Court said, if you are cancelling retrospectively, how can he claim the resale now? That particular supplier or seller, whatever it is, he was holding registration certificate. The buyer purchased the goods, paid tax to him on the basis of that registration certificate. Now you are cancelling it. What remedy he has? And they allowed the resale. Suresh Trading has been followed by the Delhi High Court in Shanti Kiran, and now Supreme Court has, on merit, they have said there is no necessity to interfere in that judgment. It means Suresh Trading is a good law now. So far as our Bombay High Court is concerned, they have spoken about Suresh Trading, but they are saying the section 44 of the MVAT Act takes care of it. And what care it is taking? That is principal and agent. उसमें क्या तुमने care लिया? But then see, that was not focused and they rejected. But now there is a new opening. Take advantage of that.
Some judgments, Allahabad and all, they've started taking this.
Yes, yes, yes. अभी जीएसटी में होगा. अभी जीएसटी में सेम थिंग. इनवॉइस देगा, लमसम भरता है. अरे बाद में तुम उसको उड़ा देता है रिट्रोस्पेक्टिव. वो भी उड़ाता है कैसा? ए टू बी, बी टू सी, सी टू डी, डी टू. वो किधर से बी एक मिल जाता है बीच में, सबका उड़ाता है. दिस विल बी स्टॉप नाउ. बट यू विल हैव टू challenge it. I don't know whether after this judgment, central government is coming out with amnesty. But that is the best thing which they do. Once they realize that there is a judgment against us, they immediately, this is what they done for this 48-5. They give amnesty. The people are contented. See, basically, litigation is so costly in our country that people avoid to litigate, and there is no certainty. Amnesty is certainty. 50% भरोड़ निकल जाओ. 50% आपका, 50% उनका. They may, but whether they declare amnesty or not, keep the proceedings live. One or two judgments, if they are given in our favor, those will be applied all over India. Of course, again, I don't know what this tribunal will be doing. Because again, those same technical members have gone there. Judicial members, we don't know their caliber, who are there on the list which I have seen. There are no retired High Court judges. All those same district judges, they are there. We know, but anyway, you also come across sometimes. There are some people here, like recently Justice Gaddam or Justice Vidwans. They are very good people. They handled the matters. The analysis of law was excellent. Some technical members are also good. But finally, those matters should reach the court, High Court. Ensure that, and then you will, I'm sure because of this Shanti Kiran is not protecting the Hawala. Try to understand. Shanti Kiran only says this is the basic thing which they are saying. If the transaction is bona fide, if the transactions are matching, now that I would like to tell you. They have what Shanti Kiran has reproduced the observations of the High Court where they are saying mismatch. So they are saying if there is, High Court has said, if there is no mismatch and transaction is bona fide, then this has to be. But what is that the mismatch? That also say, I'll tell you, according to me, that mismatch under the MVAT Act, it's not J1, J2 mismatch. Or in your GST laws, whatever that 3A, 3B, 2A, that's not the mismatch. Mismatch means you have, he has the invoice, you have the invoice. He has delivered the goods, you have paid him by bank. So paid him means payment has to be proved. You have paid him, that is the matching. आपका वो J1, J2 मैच होता है क्या? अरे नहीं होता है. Many times, difficulties, you cancel their supplier's number, you cancel. He goes in appeal. You don't decide that appeal in 2-3 years' time. Then it is restored. that does not come in on your website. कहाँ से matching or mismatching होएगा? So all these things you bring on record, and I am very sure that you will be able to protect your client. Now I am open for question answers. This is the short and sweet summary of this Shanti Kiran. Now if you have read Shanti Kiran, you can, एक तो बैठा है इधर, लर्नेड जनक वगानी, अभी बोलो.
Patkar sir, the GST provisions are different than the VAT law.
Tell me what are the...
I am telling you that prior to the amendment to Section 38, we had a provisions of filing of GSTR2. That is the details of inward supply. And Section 16(2)(c), which disallowed the ITC, was subject to Section 41. And Section 41 was providing a provisional credit, a provisional acceptance of the ITC, subject to matching provision. And Section 42(5) of the GST Act was having a formula for matching of the ITC based on the details of GSTR1 and GSTR2, and it provided that the supplier would be communicated the discrepancy of the matching between GSTR1 and GSTR2, and if he fails to correct that mistake, then the intimation would be given to the purchasing dealer, and only in that case the purchasing dealer is required to rectify the mistake. Rule 69 and 70 was provided for that thing. And because of that thing only, now the Guwahati High Court and the Allahabad High Court has given a judgment that unless the tax is being paid by the selling dealer, where the department has to communicate them first, and then only you can go to the recipient, because the Section 42(5), Rule 69, 70 and Section 41 is said that, and it is a mandatory for the department to first communicate the discrepancy of the matching of the ITC to the supplier. That was up to January 22 when Section 38 was amended. Now this was not in the VAT laws. So there was no compulsion.
They are on GST.
I am on GST, Patkar sir.
So GST, I'll give answer. You complete it.
So now that from January 22, we have a different provision in the GST.
Which is that?
That they have done away with the filing of the return to in Section 38. So Section 38 is deleted. Section 38 provides for the filing of the GSTR2 details of the ITC. Now there is no matching formula. So now I am claiming the ITC based on the GSTR2B. Now when I have claimed the ITC based on the GSTR2B, GSTR2B says that when the supplier files GSTR1, then even if he files 3B or not, I am eligible for the ITC. So when you file the GSTR1, not file the GSTR3B, then I am required to reverse my ITC on the 30th November of the next year, and then I can reclaim it under Rule 37A. Now whether this provision is correct or not, because
I will tell you, therefore I said, this is the, have you completed or
no,
not?
I'm on that one. Section 75(12) of the GST law provides that if the supplier fails to pay the tax within 3 months, then the department can recover the tax from the supplier, which is not in the VAT law. Although commissioner is required to, obliged to initiate recovery proceeding against the defaulting dealer. It is his duty. He is duty bound to do so. Here also, 7512 provides that the commissioner has to recover the tax from that. They are not recovering it. And then ultimately they say, okay, you reverse the ITC and you pay it, and there is no provision for refund of the ITC. If I pay it and the supplier later on pays it, then how do I claim the refund? So whether such type of the provision can be challenged under the as a constitutional validity?
Now listen. First thing, I discourage challenging constitutional validity. Don't challenge under constitutional validity. That is because courts are also first seeing how this law is being applied. See, this Mahalakshmi, according to me, it was the mistake. Directly challenging, because you don't know the implications, no. The law which is there, you don't know the implications. Once court also comes to know that this is being applied in such particular manner, then court interferes. Now this also Supreme Court, initially all the Delhi High Court judgment that arise India and that quest and all those things, they only dismissed the SLP and kept quiet. It took so many years for them. This judgment is now the given 9th October 25. Why it took so many years for them? That is because they were also watching how it is being applied. And finally, they laid down that principle that you have to make distinction between bona fide transaction and transaction which is not bona fide. If your law is not making that distinction, then that law is either it is to be struck down or read down, which is what Delhi High Court done. Now, answering your question, now see, you spoke about that reversal and sending intimation. That is all a procedural part in sending it. But before sending that intimation, they have to make recoveries from the supplier. There where you will get help of this judgment. If they don't do, and that is it, that should also see, there are so many facets. This is retrospective cancellation is only one thing. Our companies are going in NCLT. Companies are collecting tax. If you are not recovering from them immediately, they are going in NCLT. We are handling those cases now. And NCLT, they get that moratorium. Now, what a buyer should do? Buyer, it was a bona fide purchase. There is nothing dishonesty or anything in that. It was bona fide, and he has not deposited. He has not deposited. He had gone in, he used it, but you didn't do anything. That department didn't do anything immediately. At least in VAT, this is what has happened. And by that time, he has gone in NCLT. Now there is no recovery. Now you are saying buyer should pay. See, there are so many. That is what I am saying. So this intimation and this one reversal, that's all right. But that, before reaching to that stage, what is required under the law, if your transactions are matching, I am repeating it. Matching, according to me, not your GSTR 1 and this one. GSTR 1 and this one, what they are doing? They are showing their all transactions. They are adjusting the input tax credit. अब वो input tax credit में A to B, B to C, C to D, C to, अब बाद में बीच में एक कोई मिल जाता है. Then whole thing is getting reversed. So that is not matching. According to me, that is not matching. They have not explained in this judgment. Delhi High Court has also not explained. Matching means his invoice, he has paid he has collected the tax from you, you have paid it, it's a true transaction, you have paid it to him or bank and whatever. That is matching. Your purchase and its sale. This is what my interpretation is. Tomorrow, how much it stands, that is different. But that is the matching. It is not matching. You cancel the numbers, restore them. Now, see these things. Tribunals are not still functioning. There are so many cancellations pending there. Everyone has not gone to the High Court. Some of them have gone to High Court. What about others? Now thereafter you restore it, recover from it. अभी किसको देगा वो सब 18 और 19 वाले को? See, this is therefore initially I said you now understand what is the principle. Principle is that if the transaction is bona fide, it is the responsibility of the department to recover it and recover it in time. If you have not recorded it in time, you can't make the buyer suffer. This is short and sweet summary of this matter. बोलो और कोई? जनक भाई तो हो गया. See, basically principle will apply everywhere. Whether delivered, now MVAT, at least under your GST law, there are provisions for this one, filing that GST R1 and this one. At least you can see the invoice. अरे VAT में क्या था?
Nothing.
Then कुछ नहीं था. Still you are saying tax is not deposited, you have to pay it. So this is Supreme Court has established the principle. Now, as per this principle, you will get the judgments of different high courts based on different fact situation. Somebody has gone in NCLT, somebody has collected the tax and kept with him, used it, however you have paid it to him, then whether the transaction is bona fide transaction or not. Somebody has died, then what is his successor has come, company's name has changed. This is another fact situation. This will apply to different fact, but if you are able to prove that you have paid the tax to him, as per this Supreme Court judgment, you are now entitled to
the set off.
And talking to about him, see, refund is your right, Janak Bhai. There need not be a provision. If there is an illegal recovery of the tax, it has to be refunded. It has to be refunded. Government cannot pocket the refund and unjustly enrich.
Take the case that I am not allowed the ITC because of the provisional credit. ITC credit, my bank, ITC credit ledger is blocked, negative balance. Then I am compelled to pay the tax by way of cash only. Then subsequently ITC is allowed. Now that ITC I cannot be used for my entire life. Now that the ITC should be allowed to be refunded in cash to me. Now Bharti Airtel Supreme Court has said the swapping of the ledger is not allowed. So when you paid the tax by cash and subsequently you claim the ITC, in that case Supreme Court has said in Bharti Airtel that you are not allowed to swap back ledgers. But here I am not allowed the claim of the ITC for some reasons, and I pay the tax by cash. I'm just giving you example that I purchase a 1 crore rupees goods from Mr. A. He has not reported his invoices in GST R1, so I'm not allowed to get the claim of the ITC while filing the return. Naturally, I will have to pay by cash. And then subsequently he files a return and I get the ITC. What will happen to the payment of the tax by me by cash? Now the department will say you get the ITC, but you will not get the refund. So there is no provision to get the refund. When I paid the tax by cash instead of by utilizing the ITC credit. This is the issue.
The question is, if whatever you have paid by cash, if you are not able to adjust that ITC, then what? But then, see, I'll give you an example. Under Section 56 of the MVAT Act, you were not allowed to go in appeal against the order under Section 32 interest, 30 ka. Does it mean that somebody, if he the levy is 32 without justifying it, then you are remediless. No, you have to approach the High Court. So simple. It's like this. If there is no direct provision granting you, you have to go to High Court under 226 and they will give you. Why are you worried?
Oh, in fact, so just to add on to what Vagani sir said and the question with
Mm.
regards to NCLT, because that is something that we need to discuss more because a lot of people, there's going to come a lot more. Now, just an addendum to what sir said. Now you see, sir, if 54, why are we looking at whether there are provisions or not? If 54 says that excess tax paid, you can claim refund.
Mm.
The excess tax paid, essentially, even in a situation like you, excess tax paid could also mean excess tax which is collected.
Correct.
So that
Correct.
will, sir, in fact, sir, in my opinion, sir, in that case, I would actually first file a refund application here. Let them reject it, then go to the High Court.
Of course.
Then go to the High Court.
You
Now,
have
sir,
to follow the procedure in the department, and then either they reject it or they don't act upon it, then go to High Court. See, no action is also an order. That can also be challenged before the High Court. So you are not remedialist anywhere. Either the department should give or you claim. Now take the same thing, this 50 and 51 under MVAT Act. That 51 they were saying refund only as if they were not doing assessment. Now High Court has given, tribunal has also given. Under section 50 you process that refund. It's like this. Same thing is spoke about 54 under GST.
sir, with regards to NCLT,
Processing, 1 second. See, processing of refund need not necessarily be under any particular section. It can be wherever there is a refund available, you process under that. Ultimately, you have to assess those transactions, nothing else. Bolo.
sir, ek minute. Sir, with regards to NCLT, see what happens with NCLT. This is why I said that please expand it a bit more because except for few of us, they would have not seen. Now there are two sides of NCLT, sir. Now what happens is if my client goes into NCLT, then I say Department 14 is invoked, then CRP proceedings also over. I say no tax is payable now, nothing. CRP proceeding. Now what happens at that point of time? Now because of the circulars that came, departmental circulars, वैट में पहले नहीं करते थे, अभी भी वैट का वो लोग नहीं करते थे,
नहीं.
बट अभी स्टेट वाले को भी मालूम है, सेंटर वाले को. व्हाट दे डू इज दे फाइल द एंटायर क्लेम. उनका जो भी क्लेम है ना वो फाइल कर देते हैं. नाउ एट द सीआरपी प्रोसीडिंग्स आई मे गेट समथिंग, आई मे नॉट गेट समथिंग, बट एसेंशियली क्या होता है सर, इफ आई एम लुकिंग एट द पर्सन हु हैज गॉन इनटू एनसीएलटी, उसका जो पेमेंट था गवर्नमेंट ड्यूज को देने के लिए वो रिजॉल्व हो गया है एज पर द एक्ट. नाउ यू सी ऑन द अदर साइड the affected party, which are most of the people. Now the affected party, sir, again, like you said, is right. They will say that he has not paid the tax. I have declared him non-genuine. All those things they will say.
Correct.
But the point is, even as per 16(2)(c),
Yes.
the whole point is they said that he has paid the tax or not. Well, if he is in NCLT, eventually the resolution has come, then he has paid the tax. No,
Correct.
he has paid the tax.
Yes. This is what the point is. If you had immediately recorded from him, the matter was different. Now you have not declared. He has gone in NCLT. That resolution has come. Now that itself is an order. That is what he has deposited. Actually paid. What else you want? Because that particular court is now considering it as received and distributes it to different entities, claimants. Yes?
Sir, my case is under the VAT. I have purchased diamond from the person who ran away. Mr. Modi. He has run away from the country. I have paid the taxes. I have the bill. I have a stock register. I can prove I have exported the goods. First come, first served basis. And before the assessment order, they came with 48.5. They disallowed this thing. I am in appeal before the Joint Commissioner. He has not taken any decision. Now, I also want to make inquiry whether those assessment orders have been passed, expired or not. Will they give me expired orders copy?
एक्सपर्टी
Expired order इसको पास तो किया होगा ना सर?
किसका?
सेलर का.
हाँ सुनो दिस इज वेयर आपका जेसी के पास अभी भी है,
आप पेंडिंग
हाँ।
पड़ा है.
तो आप ऐसा करो, सी बिल्ड अप योर केस प्रॉपरली.
या
Unless you build up your case properly, you will not be able to take benefit of any judgment of any Supreme
I
Court.
built up
of
from the
Supreme Court.
beginning.
हाँ. Now what you have to do, first put entire evidence of payment of tax on record, including your purchase invoices and this one,
Yes.
bank payments and
Yes.
okay. Secondly, write a letter to him that you give us the copies of his the returns, his assessment order, the recovery proceedings and prosecution proceedings. They will not give you reply. No, they never give. They keep on saying milta hi nahi hai, record hi milta nahi hai. This is what is happening in all these cases. But you take 1 year, 2 year, they never get the record of this one. Only thing, if they are prosecuted, then those papers they will give you. That's all. Then you make use of this judgment and tell that joint commissioner, see, this transaction is bona fide. Now, Supreme Court judgment under Article 141 of the Constitution of India, it is the law of the land. You have to follow it. घबर जाएगा देखो. अभी वो दिल्ली वाला है कि क्या कुछ ना कुछ लिख के फिर क्या करता है देखो. And then pursue that. You are everyone either under MVAT Act or under GST law. I have full confidence that if the transaction is bona fide, you are going to get a relief under this date.
I won't refund against this order. I have paid the taxes. My matter was under refund. They have disallowed my refund.
You have paid taxes. You are paid entire taxes.
Yes. No. See, I was exporter. So whatever taxes I have paid.
That is again this one. Then you are entitled to ITC. मिलेगा पक्का मिलेगा. और जरा उसका फाइल हिलाओ जल्दी. अब एक गरम है तो हो जाएगा.
ये ऑनलाइन प्रवीण ऑनलाइन कौन है, किसको अगर बोलना था तो उनको अनम्यूट करो.
Sir, all these cases are in the terms of goods. How do we justify that it's a bona fide transaction in case of services?
What is wrong in that?
Because
सर्विस
in
में क्या bona fide नहीं रहता है?
no, रहता है, but in goods you have delivery, challan, e-way bill, etc. But in services,
अरे services are rendered ना. See, basically you take it out of your mind. आप उसमें ये जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट में डिलीवरी और सब लिखा है ना, वो जरा पढ़ लो. डिलीवरी नीड नॉट बी अ फिजिकल डिलीवरी. अरे बाबा बाजूला ना. देयर कैन बी अ कंस्ट्रक्टिव डिलीवरी ऑल्सो. अरे सर्विसेज यू आर रेंडर्ड इन पर्सन्स टू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. नो, ऐसे ही जाके कोई वो तो घर में होता है, खाली नल लगा लिया.
जो मैन पावर सर्विसेज जो सप्लाई करते हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन में, बहुत सारे लोगों को ऑफलाइन उन्होंने
बट यू हैव दोज रिकॉर्ड्स उसका पेमेंट का और वो सब रहते. अरे अभी देखो वो क्या है.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I am Advocate Dishant Doshi. Sir, yeah.
Where are you?
Right side, sir. You are right. Yes, sir. Sir, pertaining to the point of establishing bona fide taxpayer or genuine transaction, so sometimes it also happens that even though we have e-way bill or auto-generated delivery challan, so at the level of department, they still do not wholeheartedly consider those documents. They still want something like lorry receipt or some other proof to establish that your transaction is actually genuine, even though e-way bill is obviously recognized document and delivery challan is a recognized document. Then too, they don't sometimes consider it and they need more documents. And so then we have to go, they reject and we have to go ahead and opt for other remedies like High Court.
See,
So that is also-
basically, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You do whatever you are able to do.
Right.
Don't do which is impossible to do.
Right.
If you have in your possession UA bill and other things which are there
Right.
asking for, give it to them.
Right.
If they accept, it is well and good.
Right.
Otherwise, in appeal, you prove. See, anything which proves the delivery has to be accepted.
Yes, exactly.
You can't ask for, keep on asking for additional evidences.
Right. Right.
So that is wrong.
Yeah, there is a
करते हैं, क्या करेंगे?
there is a High Court judge. Yes, sir. Exactly.
Are within city, then you immediately give them an affidavit saying that there are tempo से आया कैसा ऐसी small things एक tempo में आता है किधर delivery चलन देगा वो?
Right. Exactly.
फिर
LR से. Sir, there is a High Court.
sorry, LR कहाँ से लाएगा?
There is a High Court judgment
If
of
same tempo, if it is carrying the goods of the tempo or lorry, carrying the goods of the 50 different people,
multiple
कहाँ से
parties.
देगा वो?
Exactly.
But then affidavit.
There is a High Court judgment of Kolkata, Niranjan Paul, in which the High Court has said that the documents e-way bill and delivery challan were submitted, but officers still rejected it and did not consider. So it is wrong, and then they remanded it back. But till it is happening,
Still, everyone can't go up to High Court.
right? Exactly. So it should be changed at department level.
But
actually.
whatever, that is what I have said. Whatever document you have in your possession, keep it on there. That is your responsibility.
Right. Right.
वो नहीं लेता है इसके लिए फिर अपने पास ऐसा नहीं.
No.
The
Obviously.
document evidence should go on record.
Definitely.
होता है फिर.
Thank you, sir.
हेलो हाँ
अरे
बोलिए
कौन-
मैडम निकिता मैडम
Oh, hello. Hi. No, the NCLT issue is already cleared by Parth. That was I was suggesting. They always file Form B. The claim is always filed by the state. Therefore, NCLT matters have a clear case. Parth is already cleared. Don't worry.
Okay. और कोई है क्या?
हेलो
हाँ बोलिए अनिल सर
Yeah, Neil is.
सर if we know that the transaction now how to decide whether the transaction is genuine or not
अरे
because delivery has not been mentioned everywhere in the GST law. So even if the delivery is not given and we prove that the tax has been paid to the supplier and supplier has also paid the tax in the government treasury, but the goods are still lying in my godown, they are not actually delivered. In such a case, department is saying that that is a non-genuine transaction. I am saying when the tax has been deposited by the supplier, then how can it be treated as a non-genuine transaction?
It can't be. I'll tell you this. But only thing, you will have to prove why the goods are lying in your godown.
Because physical delivery is not given. As you have said that constructive delivery
Why
has
it
been
is
given.
not given? Why it is not given?
Because he wants to sell it further, so he has kept it in my godown only.
Then that is what I am saying. Then it is constructive delivery.
Yes.
It is constructive delivery. He may tell
Correct.
you, see, everyone doesn't have godown.
Correct.
Now, if A to B, B to C, C to D, A is having godown, A will
Yes.
sell it to B, B will sell
Yes.
it to C. Now B will say, "Arey, keep the goods in your godown only. I'll sell it further, deliver those goods directly to C."
See.
There is
Yes.
nothing wrong in that. But only thing, there has to be a documentary evidence which proves that under his instructions you have kept it in your godown.
Yes, sir. That is there.
Ah.
That is there.
That care, see, unfortunately, what we find further in appeals that at the first stage, no such evidence is placed on record. सबका काम चलता है पटाओ 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 उसमें कोई कागज नहीं देता है और फिर बाद में गड़बड़ हो जाता है. Then they get a opportunity to say that now this is everything is afterthought. या आपने वो सब कुकिंग कर दिया करके. This should not happen.
लेकिन सर
Care at the
सप्लायर ने
first stage
ऑलरेडी
only. हाँ.
सप्लायर ने ऑलरेडी टैक्स भर दिया है तो गवर्नमेंट का इसमें नुकसान क्या है आईटीसी देने में?
अरे नुकसान नहीं होता है तो भी गवर्नमेंट दोनों से भी रिकवर करने को देखता है और किया है.
हाँ तो
गवर्नमेंट छोड़ता है क्या कभी किसको?
इसीलिए इसको
See,
चैलेंज कैसा करना है?
this argument will not work. That the government has received the tax and they should not. It will not work.
Okay. Okay.
हाँ, बोलो.
And what sir you are saying is perfectly right. What happens is, in most cases, what we see when the matter comes to us, whether it is at the order stage or it is at the appeal stage, what should be done very specifically at the show cause notice stage, which is the most important thing,
Yes.
and which I think will be taken much more in detail in RRC.
I'll speak something on this. See, it's not like this, like your value added. आप लोग के दिमाग में अभी भी वो VAT है. ऐसे में और जाता है ऑफिसर को उधर बैठता है उसने मांगा है तो नहीं देना. No. That is only because many of you have not appeared under the excise law or service tax law. More than that, excise law. See, there the working is on issuing the show cause notices. Once the show cause notice is issued, you should give a proper reply and put everything possible on record, whatever you have. If you don't do it, tomorrow in appeals, in some cases it may not be permitted also. Try to understand, it's not VAT appeals. They will not permit you to produce the evidence and then you will land in trouble. Therefore, first thing, your show cause notice, reply to show cause notice is very important under the. But anyway, whatever I have seen, we are getting the matter where they are themselves replying the notices. We'll see what happens in future. But bear in mind, show cause notice has to be replied in a proper manner, putting everything on record, along with your evidence. Yes.
सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी क्या होता है, आप द नोटिस दैट वी गेट सब जितना भी जजमेंट व्हाट्सएप पे आता है ना सब डाला हुआ रहता है, बहुत बड़ा सबमिशन होता है, फैक्ट्स कुछ नहीं होता है.
Anyone else? कौन सा?
I take a lot of cases in blocking of ITC. सप्लायर का आरसी कैंसिल कर दिया.
मैटर्स चालू है उसके भी है हाई कोर्ट में.
नेगेटिव ब्लॉकिंग का तो जजमेंट है. व्हाट इज सेइंग इज दैट 86A का जो है ना अभी सर वो तो क्या है फैक्ट टू फैक्ट बेसिस पे हो रहा है.
They have not passed my order in my case. Neither they have blocked, because I have given it writing in sufficient in 10 to 15 pages reply I have given them with all the evidences on the record, and they have not taken any consideration of that, and they have kept the matter pending. In some
and
cases,
they have blocked the ITC.
They have not blocked. They have not, they have not blocked the ITC. I told them, if you want to block the ITC, you give me show cause notice again. I'll reply to you. Then you pass the order. I don't want blocking of my ITC. I'll go and appeal. Second thing, in some cases they are not given show cause notice. They have blocked my ITC. That is illegal. How can I block the ITC without issuing notices?
इनफैक्ट सर शो कॉज नोटिस, अगर आप शो कॉज नोटिस स्टेज पे आ गए फिर तो आईटीसी ब्लॉक हो नहीं सकता है. नहीं सर, देयर आर टू थिंग्स सर. ये 86A में क्या होता है, वन सेकंड आई जस्ट क्लैरिफाई. 86A में क्या होता है, मोस्ट केसेस में जो मतलब मे बी एट अ लेटर स्टेज व्हेन इट कम्स टू अस, बिफोर दैट मोमेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुआ, कुछ भी हुआ, मालूम पड़ा ना ये नॉन जेन्युइन है या कुछ भी एलिगेशन हुआ ना, what they do now is in several cases 50-60% of cases पहले आके उतना जो आईटीसी है ना वो जो रेसिपिएंट है ना उसका ब्लॉक करके रख देते हैं. That is pending up to the date of adjudication. Now once a show cause notice is issued, that ITC has to be unblocked. Show cause notice के बाद तो ITC आप ब्लॉक रख भी नहीं सकते.
Can they block the ITC without show cause notice?
नहीं वो
How can they block?
नहीं सर, खाली
पहले ब्लॉक करता है लेकिन एक बार आपका शो कॉज आ गया तो हो गया ना.
नहीं दिया show cause नहीं दिया और ब्लॉक कर दिए.
नहीं then you challenge it.
सर दो कंफ्यूजन है. आपका आईटीसी ब्लॉक किया ना 86A में, वो लोगों ने ब्लॉक कर दिया ना, वो ब्लॉक करने का कि नहीं उसके लिए शो कॉज नोटिस देना कि नहीं, वो दैट इज अ सेपरेट थिंग. बट आपका एजुडिकेशन का शो कॉज नोटिस अगर आ गया देन दे कैन नॉट ब्लॉक बिकॉज दैट इज प्रोविजनल खत्म हो जाता है वंस एजुडिकेशन बिगिन.
Not passing any order because they know. So once you go in appeal, you pay 10% and get out. So they are blocking for the sake of revenue. They are blocking the ITC now everywhere.
Yes. And Parth,
तो लोग करेंगे ही ना.
and Parth, hello.
बोलो सर. अरे
Parth, even they are in 86A, they keep the block till for 1 year, complete 1 year, even if adjudication is done.
No,
Though it
that-
is wrong, but this is happening in the
That is
department.
challengeable. That is challengeable.
चैलेंज करो उसको.
That is challengeable. से वो क्या 1 year क्या सर इनफैक्ट जल्दी किया रहता है इन्वेस्टिगेशन तो 1 year का वो लोग एक्सटेंड करके और 1 year भी करते बट दैट इज ओनली टिल द शो कॉज नोटिस आफ्टर दैट यू कैन नॉट ब्लॉक.
That is true, but department is doing this, so
तो उसको
people
challenge
have
करो.
the issues.
अरे हम
Challenge
लोग
करने
करेंगे
का.
सर अगर डिपार्टमेंट सब बराबर
If they are doing the anything, anyone else?
Section 16B, he has received the goods and services or both.
कहाँ से आया?
That is something on the receipt of the services or goods.
हाँ.
They are asking whether it has to be received goods and services.
Huh?
Whether it is applied for goods as well as services.
So why not applicable?
Query is saying.
The principle applies everywhere. Both.
There is another query that one of case the party has sold goods in loss. Then one CGST officer reduced party RTC proportionately. I think.
Now, if you are sold in loss and if you are claiming more ITC, so far as purchases are concerned, according to me, there is no provision to reduce it. There are provisions under the VAT laws of some other states like Tamil Nadu. That JM and Company, 96 VST, that judgment was on that point only. But there it was not in loss, but he has passed a discount, credit note. In GST law, there is no such what he is saying, ऐसा कुछ provision है नहीं. If there is a provision, then yes, that is exactly what such exact provision is there under the Tamil Nadu VAT law.
Section 15 is very clear, sir.
Which has been upheld by this one. Huh? Yeah. That has been that in JM, that disallowance is upheld by the Supreme Court. But that is only because there is a specific provision there which says that you can't claim. See, what I'll just tell you the facts of that case. What had happened initially, supplier sold the goods. ये मोबाइल में और बहुत होता है. मैं तो पुणे में जीत गया मैटर वो इंसेंटिव देते हैं. In those cases, mobile and they give incentive later on. There are schemes, trade discount or quantity discount, turnover discount. And then what happens? You claim the ITC, full ITC, and while paying, you are paying less. That is because discount is given. He is charging on 100 and you are charging on 90 rupees. Now, in my case, they said that is allowed. Refund has also been given. So there is no problem. But in Tamil Nadu, they had come with a provision, with the provision saying that in such cases, ITC is required to be reversed. And that provision was introduced retrospectively. So what Supreme Court did, they upheld the provision, but they made it prospective.
No, इसमें क्या है sir? Under the VAT, under the GST, the provision is that if at all, see, we are talking about two things. If you sell under a loss, section 15 is very clear that if you have two unrelated parties, your invoice value is the actual value. Now, in a credit note, obviously,
related or unrelated?
Unrelated parties. Related parties may be, sir, ऐसा है, law rule 28 states very clearly, if the other person is going to claim ITC, invoice value is the actual value. So that is fine. Now, in a credit note, sir, obviously, if at all it's a credit note under section 34, if the tax is reduced, then you have to reduce the ITC. That is
Correct.
it. Tax is reduced, you have to. But then, sir, that will go into a different tangent. Now, if we go into financial credit notes and all, वो अलग हो जाएगा. That's a different discussion.
Chalo.
Yes,
Or-
sir. Another question was regarding that delivery of goods, constructive delivery of goods.
That I already
Already,
explained. There can be a constructive delivery.
Yes, yes. That's also.
But you'll have to prove. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं कुछ दिया नहीं. You'll have to prove that there was a constructive. Why it is kept in your godown. That you have to prove. And at the time of reply to the show cause.
That's all, sir. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vinayak sir, for an enlightening lecture. I would now call upon Honorary Joint Secretary Sunil Joshi to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ajay. It is indeed a pleasure to propose a hearty vote of thanks to Shri Vinayak Patkar, sir. So you have enlightened us on the latest important judgment on the crucial topic of ITC disallowance. In light of Supreme Court judgment in Shanti Kiran India Ltd, you have shown us the way to deal with the burning issue of disallowance of ITC on account of so-called NGTP dealers. Sir, you have shown the ray of hope in this long battle. Your guidance on reply on show cause notice will help the dealers in fighting their case in the higher forum. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your experience as well as expertise on the topic. I request all of you to carry the vote of thanks with a loud applause. I request all to rise for national anthem.